And welcome in to another episode of Off Script. My name is Zak Herbstreit. And ladies and gentlemen, spring is officially here. People are putting on their pads. They're putting on their helmets. Nebraska even had their spring game this past weekend. So we're in full swing right now. But in today's video, I want to ask the question, what is the general vibe around this Kansas State team heading into this upcoming 2026 spring ball? But before we get into that today, if you enjoy college football, if you enjoy the channel, make sure to hit that thumbs up button. Subscribe to the channel as well. It really helps me out a lot, so I appreciate you guys. But let's get into it here. How do you kind of get a general vibe of a team that goes 6-6, has a little bit of a lackluster passing game and rushing defense? And, that's tough love there. You got to call a spade a little bit. And especially 6-6 at a program like Kansas State, that's not the standard. That's not the standard. But before even doing any research on this Kansas State team or just even deep dive on this Kansas State team, my general thought process, my general just like when I think Kansas State and I think Colin Klein, first year, like what do I think? I think they're kind of lurking in the shadows a little bit. They're kind of, getting strong and not being talked about a lot. And also they're just going to show relentless effort, relentless fight. That's the kind of vibe I get without even hearing anything yet, before doing anything. And then I watched this Colin Klein presser, and that just solidified my theory even more because they had 27 guys add over 10 pounds of muscle, broke 5 Kansas State squat records, and it just instilled a mindset of strain and finish. And when you have that mindset of strain and finish, especially in the offseason, when you're going through mat drills, when you're going through workouts, you see the progress like they had. So the question is now, how do you kind of translate that strain and finish mindset to the football field? And we're going to see that in the spring. But here's where my head's at with this Kansas State team. And I really can't help but ask the question, how is this team going to look under first-time head coach Colin Klein? And here's my thought process here, and I want to hear your guys' thought process as well. Just let me know what you guys think is this. But knowing Colin Klein and knowing where he comes from Kansas State, obviously, but his background is coaching and just being an A&M last year and how successful they were, I feel like it's going to be hard not to translate that success into this Kansas State team, especially with him knowing this program, knowing the standard of the program, and because he played during some of the Kansas State glory years in the early 2000s-ish, 2010s, around there. When I was growing up, I remember watching him being like, this Kansas State team is nasty. It's filthy. So he knows the standard. He knows what Kansas State teams, what it takes to be successful in the Big 12 nonetheless. But I think a couple times here and there, it's first-year head coach, so it's not going to go swimmingly all the time. It's not going to go perfect. It's not going to be all sunshine and rainbows and, 12-0. There's going to be some rough patches here and there. But all I know is you just got to stick with your guy because right now, the trajectory of the program and where it was and where it is now, and after watching that presser, I'm like, are you kidding me? Like, this team's definitely a team to look out for in the near future, not even this year, but just throughout the upcoming seasons, like 3, 4, 5 years down the road. I'm like, watch out for Kansas State. He knows the program. He knows the standard. So he's going to push these players to meet that standard. And we've already seen it kind of go into fruition a little bit with these offseason workouts and stuff, with people breaking squat records, with people adding on these lean muscle mass, getting ready for the season. So the program, the culture is fine. It's if anything, it's better. So I'm extremely optimistic going into this upcoming spring, being like, hey, I think we got a squad here. I think this is a different kind of vibe heading into this spring, heading into this upcoming season. But talking more on the team here, and a specific name I want to be kind of excited about here that Colin Klein in his presser he was pumped about. Tight end Lincoln Cure. And I looked around. I was researching this guy. The one thing that everyone agreed on was position versatility. And like I said, Colin Klein was super high on this guy. He had a great offseason. He had the highest muscle mass gain and most fat loss on the entire team. So usually, in my experience, when you have a great offseason like that, when you're locked in, that usually translates to the actual season and you have a breakout season. So really looking forward to Lincoln's progress. Hopefully see some plays here and there in spring and being like, hey, this guy, he's our guy. He's our guy in the passing game. So excited for Lincoln and the offense as a whole. But getting into the team a little bit more here, Colin Klein said there's room for competition almost at every single position, which is exciting to hear. that you have depth all around the team like that. And also, I feel like Colin Klein's, that competitive nature being like, hey, I'm a new coach here. Like, I'm going to see what everyone has. So, like I said, 12 practices are going to be padded out of your 15. So they're getting ready to go. They're getting ready to just knock heads here. But most interesting spots to me right now, the most concerning spots are the O-line position and the secondary position. And they have good length and depth at the O-line position, but the question is, who plays well with who? And that really is the question all around the country right now. It's like when someone's at tackle, who's going to be the guard next to him? And when someone's at center, who plays well at tackle? So it's almost like a big game of chess. And then similarly, you bring in Coach Marcel Yates, brand new corner coach, coming from Texas Tech, who had a massively successful season last year. Their defense was phenomenal last year. So this is a huge get. But same thing with this the secondary. Like, who's going to play strong? Who's going to play free? Who's playing nickel? Like, it's going to be kind of a shakeup all throughout spring practice. So you're going to be like, whose name is that? Whose name is that? At the end of the day, you just got to trust these coaches. And I think Colin Klein will put these guys in position to be successful. But Kansas State fans, overall, what are your expectations going into this upcoming spring ball? I think there's a lot of optimism there. Brand new head coach, a lot of returning guys. Avery Johnson, 4th-year quarterback here. So excited for him to kind of level up a little bit. What's the next step for him? But Kansas State fans, I want to hear your thoughts, your takes, bold takes. I'd love to hear them. But like I said, this is Off Script. My name's Zak Herbstreit. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel. I'll see you guys soon.